What's up, everybody? I'm Metal Nick,
I'm Jeff Grindstoffer.
and welcome to episode number 28 of Vinyl Bang. Today's episode, we are calling this one Viewer's Choice. Me and Jeff were trying to figure out a topic to do for this episode, and a good friend and previous guest of the show, Mr. Alex Cha, had sent us about three lists worth of ideas, and Jeff and I sat aside one night and pick the 10 best ones we could, and this is going to be today's episode, right?
Yeah. These were all, as Nick said, suggested by Alex Shaw, who has now have been hired as our idea guy, the topic decider.
No, noteworthy person, James Watson as well, because he's always throwing some killer ideas our way as
Sure,
well.
sure.
But this was a fun one to come to do because Alex did throw a whole list of topics, and like I said, we sat down the other night and chose the 10 best ones that we could do a show with, and yeah.
Yeah, there was one topic whenever it was brought up. I like. There's been a couple times where throughout the episodes, Nick and I will call dibs on certain albums, and one of these topics, I was like, I got it. I called dibs.
Yeah, I know which one. So this one kind of took a hard. Wow. Well, when we get there, we'll get
Yeah,
there.
we'll get there.
Jeff, do you want to start this one off? The first topic is favorite split.
Sure. I will start the episode off. As Nick said, the first topic is favorite split. This one took a little bit of research because there are several splits in my collection that I am a big fan of, but ultimately it came down to a pretty clear decision that I wanted to do the Hate Beak Bird Flesh split. This was a 7-inch split by these two bands that was released by Relapse in 2007. They did a total of 3 pressings, of which I have all 3. The first press, and I did not get these straightened out. The first one says it is a yellow transparent, which I don't really think this is yellow. I mean, the transparent is kind of yellow, but it's definitely a green. I've got this light above me now that I'm trying to improve the quality of my videos. But this is a yellow transparent split or a pressing. They did 400 of these. This was the first press. The second press was a purple translucent, which absolutely looks purple. Hopefully this will help my reds actually look red now. Hopefully, if I have any red vinyl, it won't look pink. But the second press was a purple translucent. There were 500 of these pressed. And then the third is, of course, the ever elusive clear. The relapse clear, of which there are 100 pressed that are not available to the public, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, my pick for favorite split is 2 of my favorite grind bands. Hate Beak, which of course is from the late Blake Harrison, our very good friend Blake Harrison, and Bird Flesh, which is one of the greatest live grind bands ever. So,
Not available to the public. How did you get your hands on that, Jeff?
don't worry about it. Next topic.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, my when it comes to splits, and I'll tell this story. Back in so I was going to see Hatebreed. They just put out Perseverance, so it was Easter Sunday of 2003, I think, maybe 2002. They played the 930 Club in DC with a band called Converge, and I was just so blown away by Converge. I was so like, I went home and I went to Tower Records, and I just tried to find everything I could possibly find of Converge. And one thing I found of them was a split they did with a band called Agoraphobic Nosebleed, which set off like a whole new world of discoveries after this, because this band is just something else. But this is an OG pressing from Hydra Head. You can see there. So this is your standard black that my buddy Blake I got from his shelf. And that came out in 1999 on Relapse and Willowhead or Hydra had pressed the vinyl, the original pressing, and then in 2007, Relapse Records repressed it. Here it is again. Man, this artwork is just something fucking else. This is the Relapse Clear 100, not available to the public.
Wink.
Don't worry about it, Jeff.
No.
This split. I'll pull this one out because it's still out. I remember discovering this, and this was the first time I ever heard Agoraphobic, and it put me in this. I didn't know what who Pig Destroyer was or anything. I was just enamored with the Agoraphobic side of this split, and Converge has some good songs on here too. Oh man, where's the track listing? Cover artwork by Derek Hess. If you know who that guy is, he did a lot of stuff in the hardcore scene and whatnot back in the day. But let's see: Mantis, Center of the Hive, Glass Tornado, Landfill of Existing Possibility, Pentagram, Constellation, Bed of Flies, I believe that is, Destroyed, and Gringo, and Infected Womb. That's the Agoraphobic side of the split. The Converge side, Locust Rain, awesome fucking song. This Is Mine. The Streets Are for Miles, My Great Devastator. I love that song. The Human Shield, and Minnesota. This is an incredible split. Like I said, like I discovered this because I was trying to find stuff by Converge, and by accident I discovered Agoraphobic Nosebleed and became a huge fan from them. And I remember meeting Scott Hall for the first time and just punishing him with questions, but he was extremely nice and so nice of a guy that he ended up writing the theme song to this show for us. So kudos, shout out to Scott, and shout out to JR. Shout out to JR who does vocals on the Agoraphobic side of this split. But yeah, some killer stuff here. I think this was back, like I said, 2002, maybe 2003 when I discovered all this stuff. But because yeah, Jane Doe, I remember seeing that was like everywhere at that point for Converge. And I think when I found out about Agoraphobic, then the next thing I found was Frozen Corpse stuff with Dope that just had come out, I guess. And yeah, some crazy shit there. That's my favorite split.
Absolutely, yeah. I believe that was one of the ones. Whenever you called dibs, I was like, "You fucker!" I wanted to do Poacher Diaries, but
anytime people talk about favorite splits to me, that one always comes to mind for sure. There's a lot out there, but that one for me.
Absolutely, killer split.
All right, next subject, next topic. Alex Cha, you rascal, chose record you bought based on a memorable music video. This is a great topic because there's probably a good story behind both of these. So go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm glad that I finally get to showcase this album. I don't remember why. Like, I don't know if we just haven't done anything from '92 or what the reason was why I've never showcased this album. But this is absolutely one of my favorite albums, and I'm glad that this came up where I got to do this. The album that I picked was based off of a video from 1992. I believe the first video I saw was NWO, or it might have been Just One Fix. And for those of you that have not picked up on this yet, I am referring to Ministry, Psalm 69. The Way to Succeed and The Way to Suck Eggs. What an album. I mean, God damn, what an album. Easily Ministry's best, in my opinion. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would argue with that.
No, that's the best one for sure.
Okay, well, 2 out of 2 hosts of Vinyl Bag agree that Psalm 69 is, in fact, the best album. The follow-up, Filth Pig, was really good, but we'll get into a whole Ministry thing later on. This album means a lot to me. I believe that TV2 was my introduction to grind. I will believe that for as long as I'm alive, because just that the beginning, the drum part that sounds almost like a jackhammer, that automatically. I mean, it almost introduced me to drum machines. Like whenever I hear a drum machine now, I automatically think of the drums at the beginning of TV2 because so good. A lot of hits on this one. Jesus Built My Hot Rod, which was the vocals provided by Gibby Haynes of the Butthole Surfers. Scarecrow, the title track, Psalm 69, Corrosion, Grace. I mean, just beginning to end. This is one of those albums where if I can't think of anything else to listen to, this immediately gets thrown on because it's just solid. Beginning to end, such a good record. But yeah, I believe this was purchased from the strength of either the NWO video or Just One Fix or both. Whatever it takes for me to showcase my original. This was the third pressing. I believe I actually took notes on this. I kind of fell out of doing notes today because I had family stuff going on, but I did actually get notes for some of these. This was the official third pressing from Europe or the UK in '92.
Killer.
So it almost classifies as an OG. I don't believe it got pressed in the States until like 2018.
Yeah, I think it's probably the one I have.
So I'm counting this as an OG before it got remastered and all that. So, definitely a prized possession of my collection.
Cool. Yeah, I love that album. I think that's their best one for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. So back in, I want to say 92, maybe. Well, yeah, it was probably 92. I used to go to a local CD store in the mall called Sam Goody, and they had this giant music box, and it had like a screen in it, and you could press buttons on the menu. You pull up a music video from whatever button you pressed, and I always remember seeing this Soundgarden, and this album came out in 1991. Bad Motorfinger. This is a 2016 repressing. You see the lenticular cover here, but
very
this,
nice.
Yeah, what a fucking album this is. I remember pressing the button and the music video for Outshined would come on, and oddly enough, like I think maybe like a few months later, I went back and that machine was gone, and I couldn't figure out what the song was, so I just bought the CD. And that was actually the first compact disc I ever bought. For years, as a kid, I just collected cassette tapes, and then one day I just decided, fuck it, because I didn't have the patience to listen to the cassette of I guess Bad Motorfinger. So I bought it on CD, and that was the very first CD I ever owned. And yeah, 2016 repressing. Let me show off these cool looking records. That music video for Outshine was just so awesome, and I bought it. And little did I know how great of an album that actually was.
Right.
This is like there's two different colors, but I don't know if you can see that right there.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's clear as a bell. That etching, man, that's sharp.
Pretty stuff. This record's kind of like marbled. I don't know. The other one.
Very nice.
Yeah. Legendary album, as far as like from the big four of the grunge era. This is my favorite Soundgarden album. I know a lot of people liked
Super Unknown.
Super Unknown, yes.
Yeah.
I remember I was in the 8th grade when that one came out, and that was a big deal, that record. But
yeah, absolutely.
Bad Motorfinger for me. I thought that was a cool one. All the great songs. Outshine, Rusty Cage, Jesus Christ Pose.
Jesus Christ
Pose. Yeah, just a fun
Room
record.
1,000 Miles Wide. Man, that's a good record.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that the Super Unknown is bad. There's some beautiful songs on that record, but yeah.
Super Unknown, just like it was more experimental. Like the songs like Fresh Tendrils and 4th of July. It was just a more experimental album. But Soundgarden discussion aside, Rusty Cage is probably the heaviest breakdown in the history of music. It is. I mean, just that that breakdown is just, they were doing it before it was a thing. They were the pioneers of the breakdown.
No, Domination from Pantera was about a year sooner than that.
Was it?
1990, Cowboys from Hell. There's a lot of good breakdowns. I'll say that is a good one too. I know what you're
It
talking
is,
about.
yeah, dude. It's just
I,
yeah,
I appreciate a good breakdown always, always. But Soundgarden definitely put their that in there in one of their songs. That's pretty awesome.
yeah.
Especially their earlier stuff, I always thought had like this more edge to it. But you're right, like the when Super Unknown came out, it was different. They tried a bunch of different. Well, that Born the Fourth of July song is a little doomy, right?
Very sludgy,
Oh,
very
sludgy, yeah. So
yeah.
yeah. All right. The next topic is the is a I like this one because this is one where Jeff got me here. The
Immediately.
worst record a great band has put out, and Jeff was like, "I got dibs on this," and
I got already. I mean, as soon as we both read it, we were like, "Worst record by a great band." I call dibs on this. This next record right here. This is it. I disappointed, very disappointed in this record. Especially on the strength of the album directly before it, which was just perfect. Such a good record, and I believe this is the first album that I ever pre-ordered from them. And
same.
I just, I've tried numerous times. I tried it 3 or 4 times whenever it came out, like thinking maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing. I don't like this record anymore, at all. And then I tried a couple years after the fact, tried it again, and it's still just like it doesn't do it. It sucks. I really hate not liking a Queens of the Stone Age album, but Villains, not a fan. That absolutely their worst record. I was actually kind of leery about the um, uh, In Times New Roman, their latest album. I was kind of leery about it because of the reaction to this album. But In Times New Roman's great. It's a great record. They definitely bounced back. I don't know if they were getting like a lot of feedback about this. One thing about this record that I do remember reading was they had a producer, like a pop producer, do this album. I don't remember who the artists were that were like being broadcasted in the advertisements or in the promotion for this album, but it was like I want to say Lady Gaga and I don't know, just pop stars was the producer that they had for this album, and that was not a good decision. So yeah, Villains. I'd go through the track list, but I don't care. I got and even whenever I pre-ordered it, I even got like the big special edition, the big fucking bundle thing that's like got a book and all this, and I've never all these stickers and everything. Which stickers I guess are kind of cool. I mean that Pez dispenser is kind of cool. I might have to go through these and take some of the stickers out and utilize them somewhere. but yeah, the album as a whole, not a fan.
I think I sold my copy, but yeah, same deal. I love that band. It's hard for me to hate something that they've done because they're a good band, a fun band, and
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah. For the most part, Josh Homme can do no wrong. Them Crooked Vultures, his stuff with Caius is just, yeah. The Desert Sessions, the oddball stuff that he does with other musicians, and I'm a fan of majority of that, but just Villains was no good.
for sure.
So,
All righty. So, when Jeff chose that album, it made me have to go through my collection really and see what I have because I've got a lot of stuff and I wonder what do I own by a band that's not good because I would try to not buy stuff by bands that isn't if it's an album I don't like, but unfortunately I found something that I guess I remember reading a lot of bad criticism about this album, but like even the band themselves say they felt like they kind of rushed some of these songs, but as far as albums that I own by the band Rush, Caress of Steel is my least favorite one. Bastille Day, I guess, is like probably the best song on this. Everything after that, I think I'm going Bald, Lakeside Park, The Necromancer, In the Valley. What is it? I'm not gonna read these songs because I don't care either. But uh, I like Rush. I'm sure people are gonna say that no, their later stuff they had really bad albums. So that's when they went synth heavy. Sure, this was I think like their first, maybe second album with Neil. It's their second album with Neil Peart, and yeah, I don't think this album was as well received. After this, they put out I think 2112. I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm probably way wrong, but I know they got a lot better after this. Maybe Fly By Night came out after this. I can't remember.
Mhm.
But yeah, I bought this album. I've spun it a few times. It's not their best one. I guess I bought it just for the sake of owning like Rush albums because I do enjoy their early stuff. A lot of their early stuff I enjoy. But yeah, Rush is a great band. That album, not so much, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with it. I mean, I guess if it was so much not your favorite that I've never even listened to it. So
Don't bother.
not familiar.
All right, next subject. Favorite record by a band that used masks.
Yeah. This one was a little bit of a stretch for me, but technically they did wear masks in the beginning, so I believe this counts. Wanted to go with something a little different, and I'm sure people have learned by now from the previous. What episode is this? 28.
Yep.
I'm sure people have learned from the previous 27 episodes of Vinyl Bang that I like Mike Patton. I'm a big fan of Mike Patton, so I want to take an opportunity, if I could, to talk about Mr. Bungle. Mr. Bungle's self-titled album. The band, of course, did wear masks whenever they started off during their early live days or early touring days. They would wear masks, and so this counts for a band with masks. This is totally a mask. This counts. Yeah, and a lot of people say that like Disco Volante is their favorite. This is, I believe, my favorite Bungle record. I'm almost positive. I mean, I will also fluctuate between this and Disco Volante, but just this as a whole is just amazing. The circus aspect of it, the Dead Goon. I mean, My Ass is on Fire, Girls of Porn, quote unquote, Slowly Growing Deaf. Just a great record, great album. And I have 3 different pressings. I believe there was a lot more pressings than this, but like I said, I was doing research today, and then I had some family stuff come up, and I kind of got distracted at work, and I was unable to do complete research. But there was at least 3 copies of this on vinyl, so go pick up these these 3 copies on vinyl. Yeah, Mr. Bungle, Masks. Love this album. Love this band.
Anything to just talk about Mike Patton, I guess.
Again, yeah. I mean, people enjoy it. I've gotten a lot of fan mail from people saying we enjoy it whenever you talk about Mike Patton, and you are super cool and not at all fat. So I appreciate the fan mail. It brightens my day to get the fan mail, and then like I'll get stalky ones from females asking if I drive a Honda Civic, and I'm just like, I can't deal with this. There's a line. There's a line there. The Patton thing's cool, but yeah. Anyway,
Moving on.
On to you, Nick.
All right. So I do have quite a few bands. I've talked about a couple of my masked bands in the past. This is a band that I would love to actually talk about because this band fucking rules. The Locust. You can see there. This is the Peel Sessions. You see the logo there?
Yes, absolutely.
You guys from not seeing it. This is the Peel Sessions. I found this in a record store years ago. So this was. Oh, I'll read that off. Pretty nice little splatter here, clear with yellow, and as you can see,
Very
there's
very cool.
basically this was recorded in August 19th of 2001. This is the John Peel sessions at BBC Media Valet Studios. 16 tracks of them doing some cool fun shit there. Put that back away. Next one I got from them is Plague Soundscapes. Really fun fucking album. This is probably their most popular one. There's some hilarious song titles on this one. Solar Panel Asses. Live from the Russian Compound. This is just a basic clear pressing of this album. I've seen them, saw them live tour this one with the Dillinger Escape Plan in Washington, D.C. back in 04, and they were just beyond phenomenal that night. Like, shout out to those dudes. Gabe, Jesus Christ, what a drummer. Then I got a couple 7-inches here from them. This is Flight of the Wounded Locusts. Got some locust larvae on the front there. This is just your basic clear. Some extra stuff in here. I don't know what that is. I'll get to that later. And then this is an interesting one. This is the locust split that they did with a band called Arab on the Radar. Each one of these, there's different pressings and different colors. Each color represents like a bodily fluid. There's like a green for vomit, red for blood, white for cum, yellow for urine, and brown for poop. I guess I got the vomit one, but they're like a puzzle piece. You put them all together and they make like they shape to, one giant piece. But
oh shit.
Yeah. You see that? How it's weirdly shaped like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, yeah. The Locust, man, they're a fucking awesome band, a good masked band. Rest in peace, Gabe. Yeah. He was quite a drummer, quite a fucking drummer.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Quite a band, quite a fun band. If you never got to see them live, it sucks. But that was one. Whew, I saw them with Dillinger. One time I saw them with Phantomas, and then another time with our good friends Cattle Decapitation. Mm-hmm. It was the last time I got to see them. So, yeah.
So Gabe was pulling double duty, or was that whenever he was still in Cattle, or was there no?
No, at this point, what Cattle was still touring Karma, I think.
Oh, so okay.
It was like Cattle, Daughters Open and Cattle, and then the Locust.
The Locust.
Yeah.
Yeah. They I'm not near as well versed in the Locust as I need to be. I was kind of late in the game with those guys. That BBC album, I really want that album. I don't know what it is about it, but I really, really want that record.
It's a really nice one. It's like I said, it's all their earlier stuff. So it's like 2001. So How to Become a Virgin, The Half-Eaten Sausage Would Like to See You in Its Office, Kill Roger Hedgecock, Straight from the Horse's Mouth, Moth-Eaten Deerhead. I love that song. I have that on a mini disc somewhere. Priest with the Sexually Transmitted Diseases, Get Out of My Bed, Cattle Mutilation, Perels and Believing, The Round Squares. It's just all types of fucking hilarious song titles. Who Wants a Dose of the Clap? 23 Full-Time Cowboys. So, yeah, and this photo on the back is like early days of them with the masks and all that. That 7-inch I had in there also had like a photo of them back in the early days before. Where is it? Before they wore masks.
Oh, right on.
They just put pictures of locust heads on their bodies there, but
yeah.
All right.
Very cool. But before we move on, and I should have done this during the music video segment, your shirt. Is that Dimebag from 5 Minutes Alone?
It is.
Okay. I've been thinking about it, and I didn't really notice it until while you were talking about the Locust. I'm like, dude, that's fucking the band that's Dimebag's guitar from 5
It
Minutes
is.
Alone.
Absolutely. Good eye. Good eye.
Thank you. Thank you. No autographs, please.
All right. Next topic. Favorite pressing that is a retail store exclusive.
Okay. So I'm kind of stretching this topic a little. These may not be necessarily my favorite retail pressings, but they were bought like last week. My wife and I went to Columbia, Missouri to see the 25th reissue of the South Park movie Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, because why wouldn't I go see it in the theater again for the first time since 1999, which I did saw twice back in 1999. But while we were in Columbia, we stopped to eat dinner before the movie, and then we still had like an hour and a half between eating and the movie. So she's like, let's go to Best Buy and just go, fuck around for a little while. So while I was in Best Buy, I decided to look through their records, because why wouldn't I look through their records? They have them. I'm going to look. So I picked up I picked up 4 total. 2 of them I'm going to showcase now, 2 of them at the end of the episode. But 2 of these are Best Buy exclusives. The first one really, really intrigued me, and I'm going to do another Vinyl Bang exclusive reveal to see what this looks like, because this hype sticker really, really just sealed the deal for me buying this record. I'm talking about Stone Temple Pilots Core. This is a Best Buy exclusive, and I'm going to try to get it to where you can read this sticker. It's probably not going to work because I have a shit camera. But it's a classic debut album, includes Plush, Sex Type Thing, Creep, and Wicked Garden on recycled vinyl. And in the bottom right here, it says color will vary. So besides the fact that this is a recycled vinyl and it's on the hype sticker as this like being a selling point of the record, I had to get it. I had to see what a recycled vinyl looks like, and the fact that the color is not a definite, like apparently every pressing is different because of the recycled aspect of it. I'm beyond intrigued. So I want to see what this looks like. I'm going to share it with all of you who are watching this episode with us. It is a purple marbled thing.
Purple marble is what I'm seeing.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I've seen a couple different pressings throughout the years that are this exact same thing, and I don't know what differentiates this from the others. For all I know, I could have 300 recycled records in my collection, but I just never knew it because it was never like broadcasted. It was never a selling point for the album itself. And I don't have a jacket for this yet, so I'll just kind of set this off to the side. Well, that's kind of cool. A recycled vinyl doing good stuff for the environment, I guess. We like to keep it green on Vinyl Bang. Moving on, my second retail purchase that I got from Best Buy, that is a Best Buy exclusive, is a new album for me. I have not yet listened to this. I am a big fan of this guy's side project, his group project with LP, Run the Jewels. I am referring to the solo album from Killer Mike. Killer Mike did a Best Buy exclusive on Orchid Vinyl, limited to 500, and this is just another purple record. I mean, it's not marbled or anything, but I have seen pictures of this on Discogs whenever I added it to my collection. But yeah, like I said, again, these are not my favorite retail records, but I just wanted to showcase them just solely for the fact that so I can open that Stone Temple Pilots record and see what a recycled record looks like. And this is pretty much the same thing, just a purple orchid colored record. But I'm still stoked to have this because based on the strength of Run the Jewels, I have over the years become a pretty big Killer Mike fan, and I am stoked to listen to this now that I am not working 6 days a week, not working every day. killing myself at work. Now that I have some free time, I am excited to throw this on the turntable and hear what Killer Mike does on his own. So
Cool stuff, man.
yeah, go check out Best Buy if you're looking for records, because they've got some pretty cool shit.
For sure.
All right.
All right.
Back to you, Nick.
All right, cool. That's some cool stuff there. I'm glad that you got some nice retail stuff from Best Buy. Maybe the next time I swing by there, I will pick up some check out, see what they got, because hopefully, hopefully I'll find some gems like that there.
Yeah,
I like that. I do like that first STP album, and I've never listened to any Killer Mike's solo stuff.
I was very excited to see those two, along with the other two that I'm going to showcase later on. Like, I was like, damn, I should not come in Best Buy if I don't plan on spending $200 on records.
No, for sure. All right, so this was a tough one for me because I had to go through and look. Like, there was something that came to mind that I bought recently at I think a Target, but it wasn't like a colored vinyl, so it wasn't exclusive. It didn't have a sticker on it or anything. But then I went through my Discogs to see what I have that's from Walmart or Target, and this came up, and I was like, yeah, I like this album a lot. This is a Ozzy Osbourne Diary of a Madman. This is the exclusive blue swirl vinyl. This was like an EP that he put out right after the Blizzard of Oz, I believe. Look at that.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty sharp for sure.
Especially for being a Walmart exclusive. It's even got the Jet center label, like the OG stuff. Over the Mountain, Flying High Again, You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, Believer, Little Dolls Tonight, SATO, and Diary of a Madman. This is a phenomenal fucking record.
It
EP.
is. Yeah.
Ozzy was quite on fire. I think this was the last thing Randy Rhoads was on. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But this is a Walmart exclusive. It's a pretty nice looking pressing. I thought about doing some of my Metallicas, but I think we're going to save that for a little later because there's a something cool that we're going to talk about in a little while here. But yeah, that's my retail exclusive there. I love Ozzy. I love that record. It's a really good record. Good EP. I keep calling it a full length, whatnot. That came out in 1981. The repress was 2021.
Very nice. Very
all
nice.
right.
Dude, and okay, out of all the retail stores that do records, I hate that Walmart does it. I hate Walmart.
It's even worse at places like Urban Outfitters does it. I remember years ago when this topic came up, the first thing I thought about was years ago when I met Shaw. We used to work at a Hot Topic, and I remember going in there like maybe a couple years after I stopped working there, and I saw that there was a pink pressing of Deftones Adrenaline, and I've always just I don't know. I look back on it, it's like that'd be cool to have that because that was a good record, and pink goes with the theme of that album, and that goes for like hundreds of bucks on Discogs now.
Oh yeah, dude, I'd love to have that.
Yeah, so makes me regret some things, but that's the first thing I thought of when we decided to do this subject. So
right,
this topic.
Yeah, I wonder if Hot Topic still does records. I haven't been to a Hot Topic in 20 years, I bet.
Yeah, I don't know any malls around my way that still have Hot Topics, unfortunately.
Yeah, Columbia's got one, but Barnes and Noble does records. Like, I like checking out Barnes and Noble because it's not that bad.
Thrift stores. Check out thrift stores. Sometimes you get lucky in there.
Absolutely.
All right. The next topic. I like this one a lot. There are two things we were going back and forth on, and we landed on this one because they were similar. Favorite record by a band that has an animal name.
Animal name.
Yeah. The other topic was food name.
Yeah, and that was I don't remember. It was
tricky because you and I were like, oh, I don't know what we have, but animal is great because I was instantly like, I can't wait. But go ahead, go. We'll get there. Go.
Yeah, the whole animal thing, like we were throwing around, of course, the regular, pig destroyer, cattle decapitation, for animal names, and I went the complete opposite, complete other side of the spectrum, and Scott Hull and Travis and JR and everybody's probably gonna be pretty pissed at me, but I'm gonna go with Kitty. With new metal girls. This will go over well with Travis. I can't wait for him to see this episode. Yeah, Kitty. Their first album, Spit, was a not really so much of a game changer. I'm sure it was for a lot of people that didn't grow up with bands like L7 or Babes in Toyland or stuff like that in the 90s. But people that were getting into music with Korn and Limp Bizkit and all them, whenever they discovered Kitty, they were like, "Ooh, girls play music. Ooh, that's neat." And whatever. This album has some memories for me. The band I was in back in the late 90s in 98 or 99. At one point, we had a female friend of the drummer, Joanna, came to a couple of our practices, and she said she wanted to try vocals, so we covered Brackish with Joanna on vocals, and it was it was fun. It was a fun 4 months of our lives whenever we had the music, whenever we had the band going. But whenever I hear that song, I always think it takes me back to the band. So that was pretty cool little trip down memory lane for Kitty. Up next from them, the second album, Oracle, is good. I still enjoy this record. A couple of the albums from it. The song What I Always Wanted, I've always been a fan of. And they cover a Pink Floyd song. And if I have not pissed enough people off already, I'm going to make another attempt to make some people mad. Their cover of Pink Floyd's Run Like Hell is not a bad cover. As far as Pink Floyd's covers go, it's not bad. Yeah. Kitty. That's about all I have to say about them.
Back when they were, I guess, coming out and getting pretty huge, especially when Spit they were touring that. I met them quite a few times. Saw them with Slipknot, saw them at Ozfest, and Morgan, the singer, was extremely nice. She was super nice. Like,
Right
I think those young ladies were very humble. They're all their fans. Everybody, they got great reception everywhere they went, everywhere they played, and they were nice women. Morgan especially. I'm sure she won't watch this, but I remember meeting her quite a few times, and she was extremely nice. I think it's just her and her sister who are left in the band now. But
yeah, the Landers sisters.
I know a guy from around the way who works with them whenever they do like festivals. He drum techs for them. So yeah,
right on. Curiosity for their albums. I mean, I've checked out the majority of them throughout the years, and their newest one, Fire, just came out like last week, I think. And I had to listen to it, just because of my, I've been a fan from day one. That's not bad. For 10 or 15 years after they had called it quits, they came back and recorded a new one, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
it's not bad.
I think I last saw them in 2004. Candiria opened for them at the 930 Club. And I walked in while they were sound checking, so I had to sign some papers, some filming documentation at the 930 Club. They take that very seriously out there. So, but yeah, cool. Kitty's awesome. They're nice women. I'm glad they're back. They're going to play a show in Brooklyn with Stabbing.
Really?
Yeah, Stabbing's on a show with them in Brooklyn, and I think this month.
Huh.
Pretty awesome.
I have yet to see Kitty. I've never seen them.
Damn, Jeff, you should.
I know, and I really should have at this point. They were playing a Sick New World festival last year. Whenever Melanie and I flew out to the first Sick New World, and we were in line for merch whenever they were on. I mean, like I could see them, but like I was in a line for merch. I wasn't standing in front of the stage watching the band. I mean, I could see them and watch them from the line, but I wasn't like in front of the stage or anything. So I kind of seen Kitty, but I want to go see them at some point.
Word. Someday. All right. Well, moving on here. I just chose to let's go with this animal subject because it finally gave me an excuse to talk about this record that I've been wanting to talk about for quite some time on this show. Because I'm not gonna lie, there's a story behind this. I was in the 10th grade. My buddy Randy, we were at the bus stop sophomore year of high school, and he was telling me about this band that he heard on Loveline the night before. They had this catchy song called "Fire, Water, Burn," but that wasn't even the best song on the album. Bloodhound Gang, One Fierce Beer Coaster. Um, yes, Bloodhound is a dog. For those of you who don't know, um, this band, this album came out in 1996. I have a 2016 repressing. I'm going to read these song titles off real quick because this is a desert island album for me. I'm very happy to own this on record because like it's I'm sure it's pretty expensive. Kiss Me Where It Smells Funny, Lift Your Head Up High and Blow Your Brains Out, Fire, Water, Burn, I Wish I Were Queer So I
So
Could
I
Get
could get
Chicks.
chicks.
Why is everybody always picking on me? It's tricky. Asleep at the Wheel, Shut Up, Your Friends Are Make Believe, Boom, featuring Rob Van Winkle, also known as Vanilla
Vanilla
Ice.
Ice. Yep.
Going Nowhere Slow, and the last track is called Reflections of Ramoa, but Ramoa spelled backwards is Homer, and it's one of them doing his impression of Homer Simpson. Um, I saw this band in 1997 at the 930 Club. I met the drummer downstairs. He was in the little phone booth smoking, and the opening band was a band called Nerf Herder, and Jimmy Pop and Lupus came out and did a song with them. And I met Jimmy Pop right after that. He autographed some shit for me. This is a clear yellow pressing. Boom, Bloodhound Gang. I think this is their best album. I'm sure a lot of people will tell you Hooray for Boobies or whatever else came out after, but like I love this one. This is start to finish some funny stuff. This was a big part of my yeah, tough year of my life actually, but this was a fun album, fun band. Bloodhound Gang, One Fierce Beer Coaster. I think a lot of people know like the Ballad of Chasey Lane or what was the other one?
Bad Touch.
Bad Touch. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Bloodhound Gang. That is
Yeah.
my band with a animal name.
Right. Dude, your only friends are make believe. I love
Yeah,
that. I
but
love that.
it's got the little what is it? The Duran Duran thing in there. The
I can't even think of how it goes.
you're my friend too.
Your best friend is you. I'm my
My
best friend too. We share the same views that hardly ever argue.
eat spam from a can. Watch
Can
late night
late night
C-SPAN.
C-SPAN and rock
Rock out
out to
old
old
school.
school Duran Duran.
There you go.
Dude, so good. Such a good.
Sing,
I'm so jealous of you for having that record.
he's singing that in the tone of I guess Rio, right? Or is it Hungry? No, it's Hungry Like a Wolf. Hungry Like
Hungry
the
like
Wolf.
the wolf.
That's
Yeah.
he's singing it in the tone like that. So
Mm-hmm.
there's some good stuff in there. That song, Why is everybody always picking on me? They do this little rewinded, let me reverse it backwards like Judas Priest first did, and they
Yeah,
play
like
this.
play it
It's
backwards.
something about Chef Boyardee. I can't remember what exactly it is, but
I can't. It's been so long since I've heard it.
they were a funny band. They had some silly lyrics. Like they weren't quite new metal. I think they fall into that alternative
They were
category.
alternative. Yeah, they definitely were not new metal. The album before that, one, Use Your Fingers, where they had You're Pretty When I'm Drunk.
Oh my god!
God
Um,
damn, the dude.
there's a lot of good ones on that album. I bought that. I had that album too when I was a sophomore. I remember listening to that shit a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it brings back some memories. Me and friends used to sit around and sing those lyrics all the time because those were some funny ass shit that band did. But shout out to Bloodhound Gang if any of them are watching. Jimmy Pop.
Jimmy Pop, yeah, do our show with us. Please collect records so we can talk about your now defunct band and get back together.
Yeah, I saw Evil Jared a couple years ago at a Slayer show. Actually, he was on tour with like Jägermeister or something. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
hmm.
that was years ago, like early 2000s. Okay, moving on. Next topic, Mr. Alex Cha. Uh, favorite unplugged MTV Unplugged.
Favorite unplugged. I'm going to do something a little off key. Well, I mean, like whenever people think of Unplugged, they generally think of Nirvana and Alice in Chains. It's the way that I look at it anyway. Is a lot of people just automatically think of either one of those two bands, and there's a lot of bands that have done unplugged performances throughout the years. Pearl Jam did one at one point. Soul Asylum, REM, Korn, I think, did an unplugged at one point. But one band that did an unplugged performance that really flies under the radar, and it is a damn shame. Second time in this episode, I am talking about Stone Temple Pilots. They did an unplugged in 1993, as shown, I found this album on vinyl. I found this vinyl whenever Sierra and I, my daughter and I, were going to we were going to see the movie Hereditary in the theater. We went to the Chesterfield Mall, and it was another one of those instances where we had like an hour or so before the thing started. And I said, there was this I forget what it's like, retro vintage or something, vintage retro or something, retroactive, I believe is retroactive, I believe is the name of the store. But it was like it's like one of those stores where you can go in and you can buy socks or skateboards or purses and records, of course, movies, books, whatever. And so I figured it's like, yeah, I'll go in and see what they got. I picked this up for $14, sealed, brand new, obvious bootleg. I mean, it was never pressed by a record label. So it says it was manufactured in Europe, 180 gram vinyl, a trademark of Vinology, which I don't know if Vinology is a label in Europe or what it is, but I came home with lowered expectations, and this is the third time I'm showcasing purple vinyl on this episode, but I put this on and I was blown away about how good this album sounds. The track list for this, they covered Cracker Man, Creep, Plush, Vaseline, Wicked Garden, Sex Type Thing, Big Empty, and Andy Warhol. Dude, this was well worth $14. I mean, like beyond worth $14. And I don't know if there's any more pressings of this, but if there are, I would most likely grab another copy. Just because, I mean, it is so good. It was the first thing I did whenever I got home from the movie that evening. I threw it on because I'm like, I have to hear how bad a $14 album sounds, and it's phenomenal. It's so clear, so good. It's a perfect unplugged album. And again, I mean, I remember seeing the MTV episode where they perform these songs. It says that Vaseline is a bonus track for this, so that might not have been played on MTV. But yeah, that's worth picking up. If any of you see it out at a store and you're a Stone Temple Pilots fan, check it out. It's definitely worth picking up.
Hell yeah. Yeah, a lot of bands, when I was in middle school, a lot of bands were jumping on that boat, especially after Nirvana did it. I remember Kiss did one, Led Zeppelin did one, but it was mostly like Eric Clapton did one in the early days. My mom always had that.
Clapton did do one, yeah.
But they just kept doing stuff like that, and yeah, which leads me to my choice, because I'll say this day and night all the time. I don't care. My favorite unplugged is always going to be Alice in Chains. This is just one of the best performances I've ever heard. If you ever heard how this starts off, it starts off with the song Nutshell, and it's just Jerry playing, and then slowly, one by one, each member comes in and picks up an instrument and starts playing, and until Lane comes in, and you hear this loud roar from the crowd, because he walks right in and starts kicking in his part on the lyric, on the vocals, and great album from start to finish. Let's go. Nutshell, Brother, No Excuses, Sludge Factory, Down in the Hole, Angry Chair, Rooster, Got Me Wrong, Heaven Beside You, Wood, Frogs, Over Now, and Killer Is Me, which I don't think was ever released on an album or anything. I think it's on a demo somewhere, but yeah, I know if you ever seen the home video version of this, Lane messes up a couple times at the beginning of Sludge Factory, so they got to start over. They edited that out of the album recording version of this. This is just standard black. This was done back in 1996. Uh, After a long hiatus for Malice in Chains, they were putting stuff out, just not playing anything live. And then this got repressed in 2010 on vinyl. Music on Vinyl put it out, but I like this. No cover songs, all straight songs. They kind of, I think at one point they start to play Enter Sandman on the bass, just to apparently they said that somebody from Metallica was in the audience. Mike Starhead on his bass. Friends don't let friends get bad haircuts or something silly like that.
Yeah, I believe the story was that the entire band was sitting in the front row, like the entire band was sitting in front of them. That's why he had that written on his bases, because it was after they got their haircut for Load, I believe.
Yeah,
could be wrong, but
I've watched this episode so many times, and I've ever seen a single member of Metallica in the audience. So it's not like they pan out to the audience much on it, but
right.
Yeah, it's a beautiful record. It's a very seasonal album, and I think it's best unplugged I've ever heard in my life.
It's definitely in the top 5 for me. Absolutely.
Okay, moving on. Next topic. Favorite comeback album from an artist. So this, I guess, would be if an artist had broken up and then they came back a couple years later and put out a brand new album.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to warn my mail carrier that the fan mail is about to come in full force on this one, because not once am I going to mention this artist on this episode, but twice I'm going to mention Mike Patton for Faith No More, Soul Invictus. Faith No More, this album came out 18 years after their album before this. In 1997, the band released Album of the Year, and it was their last effort until 18 years later they released Soul Invictus in 2015. Words cannot express how excited I was whenever I had learned that Faith No More had not only reunited, got back together, but they were recording a new album. As excited as I am, I do not own every pressing, which is a little disheartening. I think I just kind of gave up after a while. I got 3 copies. I own 3 different pressings. One of them is a clear vinyl, as indicated, and I'm not going to dig it out because I don't want to mess with the sticker. Believe another is a solid limited edition gold vinyl. You can just picture what a gold vinyl might look like. If you take it out of the sleeve, and it'd be that color of that color of gold. And I believe that the 3rd pressing of this album is just standard black, which is great. This is probably the one that I listen to the most, which is why it doesn't have the extra shit in the back. But the track list for this, I think whenever they announced that they were coming back, the first song that they had released was Superhero. And as excited as I was that the greatest band in the world, my favorite band ever, was putting out new music, I heard Superhero, and I was just kind of, oh, cool. Faith No More put out new music, and it sounds like this. So what are we doing? But they've always been very eclectic. Like, they've always been very diverse. They've never really been pigeonholed in a certain genre. Like, they don't sound like Epic. Like, everybody, unborn children have heard Epic. And everybody thinks of that song immediately whenever I bring up Faith No More anyway, or somebody that's not well-versed in Faith No More's catalog. They always think, oh, they sing that song, You Want It All. But yeah, but that's not them. That's not Faith No More at all. They've always been known for their diversity, for being a very eclectic band, and this album is no different. Soul Invictus, the title track, Sunny Side Up is a great track. Separation Anxiety, Cone of Shame. There's a section, and there's like a bridge in the song that reminds me so much of Mr.bungle. It is Patton's vocals over it, and just the band itself, and just very bungle-ish. Very awesome song. It's definitely my favorite track on the album. Rise of the Fall, Black Friday, the last track, From the Dead. The chorus for this is They're Back from the Dead, and unfortunately, this is the last album that they put out in the last 9 years. So from the lyrical content of the last track, From the Dead, I was hoping for a lot more Faith No More, and there has been no more Faith No More, unfortunately. But overall, this is a great album. There was a couple of tracks that didn't really hit the mark, but again, greatest band in the world, and this is absolutely, whenever we picked the topic of a comeback record, without a doubt, I knew for a fact I was going to do Soul Invictus just because greatest band in the world. And I was so glad that they came back around.
Wait, that's the band that does Epic? No way.
You're going to do Epic. You're going to do something.
Okay. Moving on. This was a fun one for me to pick because I had to think about it. I don't own too many comeback albums from so many bands, but this is one that I don't care what people think. I love this band, and I thought this was a cool comeback album. Carcass, Surgical Steel. This came out in 2013. I bought 2 copies, one of which I sold to our friend Mr. Travis Ryan, and I think I've told that poster story a couple times. I guess I sold him the double LP red pressing that I have. This one that I got here is the clear. I think limited to 100 friends and family.
No, that wasn't real house, was it?
No.
Oh, damn it! You got me.
You didn't see the wink there.
I did with your wink.
I also have this this Carcass flexi for the song Zocrat.
Zocrat.
Yeah,
Zocrat.
They eventually put this on the Surgical Steel Redux vinyl that came out a couple years later. But yeah, Carcass, fun bucket band, awesome live band. I think I saw them maybe like once or twice touring this record. Where me and James drove down to Richmond to see them. I think it was with like Exhumed and I don't remember who else, but yeah.
I feel like we talked about this before. I think maybe it was whenever I brought up Surgical Steel, we were trying to figure out who was on the tour.
Yeah.
I don't
remember that night.
But
yeah.
Great album. The first time that I ever attempted to film Carcass, it was at Maryland Death Fest 13, 14. I don't remember what year they played Death Fest. I'd really have to go back and look.
It was before this album, so it might have been 2012.
Might have been 12. I don't know. It regardless, whenever it was, the band was getting ready to go on stage. The drums were already set up, and Dan Wilding was literally on the stairs, walking up to his kit, getting ready to start the set. And I asked him, I said, I'm with Sick Drummer Magazine. Do you mind if I film you? And he said, yes. And ever since then, Dan and I, every time I go out to see Carcass, he gets me in for free, whether I film or not. I filmed him 4 or 5 times throughout the years. Always been super cool to me. Dan Wilding is a great guy. Shout out to Dan Wilding for being such a great guy, an awesome drummer, and just spur of the moment. I mean, I'm sure he was already riddled with anxiety getting ready to play this festival in front of thousands of people. And I said, hey, do you mind if I point cameras at you? And he said, yeah, sure, whatever. So great guy, great band, great album.
Yeah, great guy, Dan, and be on our show.
Yeah, Dan. I'll talk to him a couple months whenever I see him on tour.
All right. Moving on here. Next subject. Favorite side project.
Favorite side project. This one is kind of like a super group. And I'm not really sure who to focus on who it being a side project for. This album or this band only put out one album in 2009. This band consists of Al Cicernos, Dale Crover, Scott Weinrich, and Scott Kelly. And as a lot of people know, there's a lot of drama with Scott Kelly, and we're not getting into all that. Just going to talk about the album. This is Shrine Builder. This is the only EP from Shrine Builder to surface. This is a total of 5 tracks over, I believe it's like a half hour, 45 minutes total for the entire thing. Yeah, the first time I filmed Dale Crover back in 2012, I believe, 12 or 13. I can't remember. I've filmed him so many times throughout the years. I can't remember the first time I ever filmed him. I got him to sign my record. I don't know if you can, if I can get the light right, but right here, Dale Crover, got him to sign this. It's a great album. This is the first press from Europe in 2009. There was 2 different pressings of this in 2009. The European pressing is this, which I'm about to show. It was a split half and half, half black, half orange splatter. And I forget what the US pressing was. It was like they were solid colors, whatever it was. Both of these discs are different colors. One of them has an etching, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
Oh, yeah. I can see the snakes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's an etching on side 3, actually. This is the weird thing about this, is that the music is on side 4, but the audio is on sides 1, 2, and 4. And side 3 is the etching. A little different. You know, shaking things up a little bit in the Shrine Builder camp. This is a great effort, a great project. I wish they would have done more. Of course, now this is going to be, cast to the side unless they get somebody to replace Scott Kelly. But yeah, great project. And I forget where I found this. I found this at Streetside Records in Columbia, Missouri, which is now closed. But I believe I bought this the same night that I bought my Nirvana Bleach and Queens of the Stone Age Songs for the Deaf, and a couple other really valuable records. I got them all in one trip. Very happy to grab that. Pretty cool.
Cool stuff, indeed. Yeah, I like that project. It's good heavy stuff on that record. So, all right, I got a very unique side project featuring Mastodon's drummer Bron Daler. This is a band called Arcadia. I don't know how you say it.
Arcadia?
Arcadia, maybe. Yeah.
Mm.
It's just a self-titled album. Kind of has like these little, you can see with the hands and the little.
Oh yeah, is it embossed?
A little, yeah.
Okay.
This is let's see here. This came out 2017. This is the green with purple merge and splatter version, limited to 200.
Oh, that's a rad pressing.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
This band. Let me see if I can pull the sheet out here. Yeah, I guess it's just 2 guys with synthesizers and Bron on the drums, and they all 3 do vocals, I believe. I could be wrong there. It's a very unique project, though. It's not like anything metal. It's just a little like proggy, to say the least. I have another pressing. The only other pressing that it was put out on vinyl, and it was put out by Relapse, so obviously I have it clear.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a fun little project. Right? I think Killer Be Killed was coming out around the same time. So did Draft Tongue Orchestra. So Bron put this out. I don't know what if Billy was doing anything, but Arcadia, yeah.
Huh.
Cool, neat little project that Bron Daler did. I'm a big fan of Bron and his drumming, and so I decided to check it out. And it's got him doing vocals on there. It's pretty cool stuff. It's not like metal. Like I said, I can't remember. I haven't listened to it in a while, but I don't remember having any guitars. It's mostly just synthesizers and drums. So
that project completely flew by me. I don't remember hearing of that band at all. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
I have to get on Spotify and look up this project I've never heard before, because that's what I do on my phone when I'm on my phone. in these episodes, looking at bands. But yeah, that's cool, man. Synthesizers and drums, like, never heard of this project.
It's
Pretty
good
cool.
stuff. I really like it a lot. I didn't have any expectations when I got it, and then I listened to it and I was like, wow, this is very different, a lot cooler than I thought it would be, and then it's just unique stuff.
It's RCADEA.
RCADEA.
Okay.
ARCADA. ARCADEA.
I'm gonna check that out. Yeah. Excited to check out Braun Drailer's work, or Braun Drailer that I've never heard.
Yeah. Shout out to Brown Taylor if you ever watch.
Braun. Hell yeah.
Hopefully soon we'll get his boy Dave Whitty on the show. And possibly Braun someday. That'd be amazing.
That would be cool.
All right.
Really.
Final topic of this episode is album with the best intro. And before we do this, I know Jeff, you called dibs on something and he ended up picking something else, but I have to give the honorable mention to the song Jennifer on Prowler in the Yard, because that is an amazing intro, and neither of us ended up going with that. That was an easy answer for sure, but Jeff, what did you pick?
I picked one that I did not take notes on, which I absolutely should have. Hold on one second. This is okay. I picked an album that whenever you talk to most people, whenever you talk to fans of the metal genre, especially from the 80s, the thrash metal of the 80s, they will tell you that the best opening track for an album is Battery from Master of Puppets. And I wanted to change things up a little bit by not only showcasing one of the greatest metal albums ever written, but this is a version that came from South Korea. This is a South Korean pressing of Master of Puppets. Now, this version has a completely different track listing because of, I guess, the censorship laws in South Korea. So this track listing consists of Battery, Master of Puppets, and Orion on side 1. Side 2 consists of Leper Messiah, The Thing That Should Not Be, Bread Fan, and The Prince, which of course is missing Disposable Heroes. And God damn it, what's the other one? What's Master of Puppets?
Damage Incorporated.
Damage Incorporated. God, I knew it. I hate doing this shit under pressure. This album, this particular pressing, has the liner notes that are all written in Korean. So completely different. Like I believe I'm thanked in the liner notes of this. Mm-hmm. I believe my name is somewhere in here, but I can't decipher where it is because can't read Korean. But one cool thing about this pressing is that it comes with it says, the description on Discogs says that this is one of the first large stickers that the band ever did, but this is an original 1989 Metallica sticker from South Korea that came especially with this pressing. I bought this from Doug Brown. For those of you who do not know who Doug Brown is, Doug Brown was the sole director. He was the creator of the grindcore film Slave to the Grind, which Sebastian Bach is apparently a pretty big fan of. Doug Brown also is the man who owns so many Metallica albums on vinyl that he owns stuff that they haven't even recorded yet on vinyl. The man owns everything that Metallica has ever done on vinyl. He's been featured in I believe, a video, like a documentary of the band. I mean, they had to. They had the producers of this thing had to have gotten a hold of Doug to talk about his extensive collection because the man owns so many Metallica records. It's ridiculous, this guy's Metallica collection. And he announced it's been 3 or 4 years They announced he was selling some of his collection, and people were just clamoring over each other to try to get something. And I got, through some stroke of luck, a South Korean pressing of Master of Puppets. Very happy with this. To own a different pressing of Master of Puppets.
Cool stuff.
Yeah. So best intro, battery, South Korean pressing.
Sure, for sure. First thing I ever heard about Metallica was that, so absolutely. All right.
Oh yeah.
My selection for this topic is by a band good friends of ours, and I remember back in like 2008 on my birthday, my friend Kirsten had a birthday party for me at her house, and Mark and Adam from Misery Index were there, and they played this album for me months before it came out. This is Traders. The intro track is called "We Never Come in Peace." It's an instrumental. I guess at the very end, Jason yells, "In the true eyes of God, we have never been forgotten." But other than that intro just sets the tone for this record. This is a phenomenal fucking album. This was recorded by Kurt Ballou in where did they record this? Massachusetts, right? Yeah, God City Studios, Salem, Massachusetts. I fucking love Misery Index. These guys have always been so good to me over the years. Jason especially hooked me up with a lot of stuff. Mark, Adam, Darren, Sparky, all the people who passed and present in this band. Bruce, rest in peace, Bruce. Kevin Talley. Who else have I mentioned? Oh damn, Matt Byers. Yeah, all these other guys. Mike Harrison as well. I love this record a lot. This record, I remember seeing them so many times when this came out. They played a lot of local shows in our area. I think any tour that came through, if they needed a local artist, Misery Index picked it up. And man, I there was a period where I think if I had a list of all the shows they played, I think I've had to see these guys over 100 times by now. They played a lot. I've gone on the road with them a few times. But this album, Jason gave you this clear pressing. Oh, I didn't break out the pressing yet, did I? Clear vinyl, friends and family only. Don't ask.
Wink.
There you go. Yeah. Whoa. Look at that shit. I think I have a T-shirt somewhere with that on the back. But this is actually the only pressing I have of this album. I don't own any of the pre-order stuff. I think I got it. I pre-ordered. I was on CD at the time, but yeah, Traders doesn't get any.
Phenomenal album.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that. They sound amazing on that record. I know they have some wild stories about their time recording it, but yeah, love Misery Index.
When they were touring on that, I know they did several tours, and I don't remember if it was 2008 or 2009. I saw them in Springfield, Missouri. They were touring with the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza. They played in the basement of a pizza place in Springfield. And
Yeah.
it was in November or December. It was winter. I remember it was winter. It was cold. It was flu season. They headlined the show. They were the last band to play. They played maybe 30, 45 minutes. But the last track that they played was "We Never Come in Peace." And of course, whenever they got to the end, I was right up front. All 15 people that were in the basement of this pizza place. They got to the end, and nobody said it. Nobody said, "In the true eyes of God, we will never be forgiven." And I was standing right in front of Jason and Mark, and "In the true eyes of God, we will never be forgiven." And they were like, "Fuck it, okay." So they went into the next track, and Adam was sick. I didn't realize that AJ had the flu. They ripped through the song, note for note. The man played everything note for note. At the end of it, he's like, "I can't play anymore. I'm too sick. I cannot." He's like, "I'm done. I cannot fucking play any more drums tonight." And the guy, I mean, he was legitimately like, you could tell he was just flush. He was beat and sick and just whatever. But I will never forget that one time that they were going to close a set because they were done. They were going to play We Never Come in Peace, and just call it a day.
Democracy.
Yeah. They were gonna close with that, and I said no, we're gonna play Theocracy, and they did. They didn't want to, but they did. So I always think about that whenever I hear that opening track about how I got them to hammer through Theocracy and how mad Adam was or AJ was for that finish. Fun times. And plus, they played with Danza in a pizza parlor basement. It was a good story. Good times. Nice. I met John Strickland at that show. You remember John Strickland?
Of course.
He was there.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right. So that is it for the topics that we chose for today. We also have some new shit to show off. I'm going to go first since I only got one thing. I know, Jeff, you got quite a bit of stuff there. So a couple weeks ago, I was looking on the internet for this particular album, and I found it. Several websites were selling the gold vinyl of this, and I was like, hell yeah. And I went and purchased it. Fear Factory, obsolete. When I got it in the mail and I checked, it's a standard black, and I emailed the company that I bought it from, and they told me that I was the second person that day to email them and say that they got the same thing. So I guess Music on Vinyl had just sold all of their like stock copies of the black vinyl to all these websites, and I guess they advertised it with like the gold vinyl. It even says the one that I purchased was colored vinyl, and the picture had a gold record on it, but it's nothing the guy could have done. He offered me a 15% refund, which came out to like $5 really, but happy to own this album. This album came out in 1998. This repress is a 2018 repressing. This has got Shock, Edge Crusher, Smasher, Devour, Securitron, Police State 2000, Descent, High Tech Hate, Freedom or Fire, Obsolete, Resurrection, and Timelessness. This does not have the Gary Newman cover of Cars, unfortunately, but yeah, this is a pretty cool album. I really like Fear Factory a lot. This is probably the last good album they put out, in my opinion. I don't know. I know people really like this band. I bought that Digimortal album, but it wasn't very good, I didn't think. Yeah, saw them at Ozfest 99. They headlined the small stage. Right as soon as Slayer finished playing, all these people were just flying down the hill to catch Fear Factory. And yeah, they opened up with Shock, and then they played Self-Bias Resistor from Demanufacture. It was a pretty cool day. But yeah.
Right on.
Fear Factory, Roadrunner Records. They used to be on that label. Jeff, what did you get?
All right. I got quite a few. It's been a while since we've done a new edition segment of the show. Last week before, a couple weeks ago, my wife and I went to New York, and while we were in town, I wanted to check out a couple record stores while we were in the area. So we went down to Rockefeller Center, and across the street from Rockefeller Center is a record store called Rough Trade. So my wife and I went into Rough Trade, and I picked up a 2023 repress of Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream, which I have yet to own a copy of this on vinyl, and I am very excited to have this on vinyl. And now that I'm not working again 6 days a week, I'm actually able to listen to records again, because I don't know if people pay attention, but I've had that same copy of Angel Dust up there for like the last 3 or 4 episodes, and it's just because I haven't been here. It's like I've been at work, or I come home and I go to sleep, or I come home and I do an episode and then I go to sleep, and I have not had time to listen to records. But that's going to change, starting with Siamese Dream, because what an album, dude. Cherub Rock, Quiet Today, Hummer, Rocket, Disarm, Geek USA. Fuck. Such a good record. Beginning to end, very excited to have a repress of Siamese Dream. I'll go with up next. Earlier during the retail segment of this episode, I had talked about my wife and I had gone to Best Buy, and I picked up some records. The first 2, of course, were Stone Temple Pilots and Killer Mike. The second 2 are I picked up the 30th anniversary limited edition baby blue vinyl copy of Green Day Dookie, of which Nick is a big fan of. Nick's not a big fan. Nick's not listening. Nick is not a big fan of Dookie. I love this album. I've never owned a copy of this on vinyl yet, and I am stoked to have a copy on vinyl to finally put on the turntable. I'm going to take this over to Jamerson's and give it a good couple of spins. Up next from my trip to Best Buy, an album that I am not quite familiar with, but absolutely had to have because I am just a huge fan of Q-Tip and the stuff that he's done over the years. And plus the fact that there are the Beastie Boys are on the cover. Look at that right there.
Absolutely, yes.
All three of them. Midnight Marauders by A Tribe Called Quest. Very excited to own this on vinyl.
Plenty of people are on that cover. Biz.
A lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people on the back, too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to see where this album takes me. I am, beside myself to hear. I've checked out A Tribe Called Quest throughout the years on MTV, or heard their songs played in passing or whatever, but I've wanted to get more into this project, and what better way than buying a $24 record at Best Buy? Now I have no excuse. Now I have no excuse not to listen to them. Up next, I did a pre-order of the new album from Sumac, entitled The Healer. I have kind of gave this a quick once over on Spotify, and it's killer. This fucking album is heavy as hell. The second track, Yellow Dawn, is crushing. It's just so heavy. Excited to have a new Sumac project or a new Sumac album to add to the collection. Big fan of this band and very excited to own the new album on vinyl. I'm going to see these guys in August, and I'm going to see about having Nick let me film him. If that could be a thing, because I've filmed him several times before, I'll see why it'd be a problem. Anyway, my last vinyl that I'm going to showcase in this episode is not a new purchase. This is an album that I've had I bought off Amazon in like 2013 or 14. They were having a sale. You could buy particular albums from the 90s for like $15. So I got this and Undertow and like 4 or 5 different albums at the same time. But I'm referring to Alice in Chains' Dirt. The reason why I am showcasing this album, there was a horror movie convention in Kansas City 2 nights ago. A horror movie convention in Kansas City, and a few of the celebrities that were being showcased on there, like I met Alan Troutman, who was Tarman in Return of the Living Dead, and Tom Mathewson, who was Freddy in Return of the Living Dead. Several different character or actors throughout horror movies throughout the years. Like there was Zach Gilligan, who was Billy in the Gremlins movies, was there. A whole bunch of different celebrities. And one of them that I was unsure of, that I'd never heard of, was Mariah O'Brien. I had never heard of this woman before, so I was like, I wonder what this chick's done. This is her. This is Mariah O'Brien, who is the actual girl laying in this pile of dirt. And I got this vinyl autographed by Maria at this convention. And you talk about a surprise that was not intended. Like I ever since 1993, I've never known who this woman was, never knew who this chick was. Now I know. And not only do I know who she is, I got her autograph, and I also got a picture with her. I actually got to meet the woman, got to talk to her for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. She was super cool. She was telling me the story about how her daughter, who is in high school, or was whenever she was in high school, that her friends started to figure out who her mom was, and that she was on the cover of this Alice in Chains album, and it really sparked a lot of their interest in music from the 90s. And because of her mom's involvement with the album cover, it helped her friends to be inspired to listen to Alice in Chains, which is really fucking cool. Really cool way to introduce somebody to a band is, hey, my mom's on the cover. Whole new generation of Alice in Chains fans. So pretty cool. But
oh yeah, that's incredible. Good stuff. Glad you got to meet her.
Me too.
Well, we're about
quite an episode.
Yeah, it was a long one. We got a lot of stuff in there. It was a
going
fun
on an hour.
Almost 2 hours here. Yeah.
Almost 2 hours.
Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in this week. We really appreciate all the followers, listeners, viewers, whatever you do to tune in and keep these numbers up for us. We appreciate you sticking with us every week.
Yes, we do. We appreciate the support and the fan mail. And again, this episode was all based on suggestions from Alex Shaw, a friend of ours, for topics for different episodes. If any of you out there have an idea for an episode, or again, if any of you would like to be guests on the show, hit us up. You know, we've got some people lined up that are we just need to figure out the time to do it. But yeah, the more the merrier. Let's get you on here and talk about your stuff.
For sure.
Because I do one thing I love about having people on here is learning about new music, or learning about music that I've never paid attention to, that other people are so passionate about that I just never took the chance to listen to. I do that now. You know, I like discovering new music because of our show. So
cool. Well, thank you again, everybody, and we will see you all next week.
Yep. See you guys.